Halo, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Abdul Qadir. Here, I'm going to present and little bit explain about my lesson plan, special for in subject instructional design. Let's check it out. Oke, sekarang kita sudah ada di lesson plan. Jadi untuk mempersingkat waktu langsung saja. Name of teacher Abdul Qadir SPDI, name of school MTSN 1 Banjarmasin, subject English, grade 8, topic I'm so happy for you, chapter 5, text type, short functional text, skill, writing and reading. Kenapa saya mengambil writing reading? Nanti di sini saya akan menjelaskan. Time allocation-nya 1 kali 15 menit. Core competence ini ada K1, K2, K3, dan K4. Ini sudah sesuai dengan keinginan pemerintah. Jadi kita langsung lanjut ke basic competence. Basic competence and indicators of competence achievement. Karena saya adalah short functional text, jadi di sini basic competence-nya 3.5 to identify social functions, text structure and elements, linguistic interaction, text, oral and written, transactional ones involves the act of giving and request information related to the nature of people, animals, things accordingly with the context of its use. Yang kedua, 4.5 to compile text. Transactional, oral and written interactions are very short and simple, which involves the act of giving and asking information related to the nature of people, animals, and subjects by paying attention to social functions, text structure, and correct linguistic elements and contextual. Lanjut ke indicators of competence 3.5.1 to identify structure of short functional text about greeting card. 3.5.2 to describe short functional text about greeting card according to the structure. 4.5.1 to create a short functional text about greeting card which interesting. 4.5 and 2 to read their short functional text about greeting card that is good and interesting in front of class. Next, learning objective. In the end of class, the student will be able to create short functional text about greeting through group discussion that have been prepared in good grammar and meaningful way. The student will be able to present their own short functional text about greeting card in front of class in meaningful way. Nah, jadi pada akhir kelas nanti di sini learning objektifnya adalah untuk membuat agar si siswa itu bisa membuat short functional text bertipekan greeting card. Terus yang kedua yaitu adalah untuk mempresentasikan atau bisa nanti yaitu berupa sebuah performance. Jadi mereka maju ke depan dan mempresentasikan atau menunjukkan hasil short functional text yang sudah mereka bikin. Lanjut, attitude, values, focus. There are 4. They are religious, attention, student activity, mutual cooperation. D. Learning materials. Regular learning materials, facts, starting, responding, expected or unexpected. Concept, social function. A greeting card is an illustrated piece of cardstock or high quality paper viewed during an expression of friendship or other sentiment. Nah, jadi maksudnya greeting card ini adalah untuk memberikan atau mengekspresikan ke teman kita tentang misalkan kayak dia hari ulang tahun atau misalkan ada hari ayah. Jadi bagaimana kita mengekspresikan hari tersebut melalui kartu seperti itu. Lanjut, di sini ada gambar, ini ada contohnya, happy to have as a dad, happy Father's Day. Nah, ini adalah salah satu contoh greeting card di hari ayah. Next, third principle, generic structure. Generic structure, there are receiver, to whom the greeting is sent for. Body consists of interesting words added by substance. Quote, picture, expression. And then sender, to write down the sender of the greeting card. Fourth, procedure, write short functional text about greeting card. Okay. Learning materials for remedial. A short functional text about greeting cards that are those are good and interesting by creating a card according to the context. Third, learning materials for enrichment. Social function, generic structure, and language feeders, and short functional text in form of greeting card, both written and oral. Learning method, approach, learning model, scientific approach, learning model, CLT, communicative language teaching. Learning media, in focus, LCD projector, a card, laptop. Learning source, Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan 2017, buku siswa mata pelajaran bahasa Inggris kelas 9, Jakarta, Kementerian Pendidikan dan Kebudayaan. Second, card, or we can get it in Canva. And the third is internet. And the fourth, another relevant source like maybe in the YouTube or etc. H, teaching and learning activity. First, time allocation 1 kali 15 menit. Opening activity, teacher orientation, doing the opening by reciting salam and praying to start the lesson, and then checking the presence of the student as the reflection of disciplined behavior, preparing the student to follow the process of learning short functional text about greeting card. And then next, a perception, connecting the learning materials, theme, activities that will be done to the students' experience in the previous level, class 7. Reminding of the prerequisite materials by asking the student, asking the question related to the lesson that will be done. Next, motivation, giving the description of the benefit to learn the materials. If this material, theme or project has done well and seriously, the students will be able to explain the greeting card, telling the learning objectives to the students, asking the questions. And next, giving reference, telling the students about the materials that will be discussed today, telling the core competence, basic competence indicators, and minimum graduation criteria of the meeting, dividing learning group, explaining mechanisms of the implementation of learning experience based on the learning steps. Next, to the main activity, learning model, syntax, simulation, teaching and learning activities. Literation activities. Students are given motivation or simulation to focus attention on the topic by doing some ways, viewing, without or with tools, display relevant pictures or photos or videos, observing, showing cards from short functional text about greeting as an example, reading. In their own home before the teaching learning activities, the students are asked to read material from textbooks or other supporting books, from the internet or related material. Short functional text in form of greeting card. In form of greeting card. Listening. Students are asked to listen to the materials given by the teacher, which is related to short functional text in form of greeting card on chapter 5, page 65. Create some forms of greeting card. And then next is problem statement, question or problem identification, critical thinking. The teacher gives students the opportunity to identify as many questions as possible related to the card presented and will be answered through learning activities. For example, asking the question about what is greeting card? What is purpose of greeting card? How many bodies for making a greeting card? Which is not understood from what is observed or questions to get additional information about what is observed, starting from factual questions to hypothetical questions. To develop creativity, curiosity, the ability to formulate questions from critical thought that need to live smartly and lifelong learning. For example, the meaning of greeting card is the generic structure greeting card, or the function and the bodies for making greeting card are. Okay, next is data collection, collaboration, and critical thinking. Students gather relevant information to answer the questions that have been identified through the activity. Observing the object or phenomena, interviewing the informant, collecting the information, reading other sources beside textbook. Students are asked to explore their knowledge by reading reference books about how to make structured greeting cards that are good and interesting. Representing activities. Learners do the following activities. The students work in pairs to analyze the general and functional of greeting card based on the original card. The students discuss it with other friends, discussing, reviewing, exchange information about how to create a good greeting card. By being actively responded by students from other groups in order to obtain a new knowledge that can be used a material for group discussion later. Using the scientific methods contained in the learner's handbook or on the worksheets provide carefully to develop a conscientious, honest, polite attitude, respect the opinions of others, the ability to communicate, apply the ability to gather information through a variety of ways that are learned, develop learning habits, and lifelong learning. Next is data processing. Students in their groups discuss processing the observational data in a way, discussing about the data, how to analyze structure of short functional text about greeting card, how to describe short functional text greeting card according to the structure, how to make greeting card that are good and interesting, that have been collected or summarized in previous activities. Processing information that has been collected from the results of previous activities or meetings, as well as the results of observing activities and the activity of gathering information that is ongoing with the help of questions on the worksheet. Students doing their performance in creating a greeting card. Verification, critical thinking. Learners discuss the results of their observations and verify the results of their observation with data or theory in the source book through activities adding breadth and depth to process information. This is looking for solutions from various sources that have different opinions to develop honesty, conscience, discipline, obeying the rules, hard work, the ability to apply procedures, and the ability of indicative and deductive thinking improving. Presence in front of class about their greeting card that they create in pairs. Include with the students and teacher discuss together about the greeting cards that have been made by student. Generalization. Students are discussing to summarize, deliver the results of discussions in the form of conclusions based on the results of the analysis verbally, in writing, or other media to develop an attitude of honesty, conscientiousness, tolerance, ability to think systematically, express opinions politely. Presents the results of the classical group in discussion about greeting cards that are interesting and precise. Express opinions on presentation made and responded to by the group presenting. Ask about the presentations and other students are given the opportunity to answer them. Summarize the important points that emerged in the new learning activities carried out in the form of a written observation report about greeting cards that are good and interesting. Answering questions contained in the student handbook or worksheets that have been provided. Ask questions about things that are not understood, or the teacher throws a few questions to the student. Complete competency tests contained in the student handbook or on the worksheet that has been provided individually to check student mastery of the subject matter. Notes. During learning takes place, the teacher observes the attitude of student in learning, which includes attitudes, discipline, self-confidence, behave honestly, resilient to deal with problem of responsibility, curiosity, care for the environment. Closing activity. Students making summary with the guidance of the teacher about the important points that emerge in the new learning activities carried out. Scheduling homework, scheduling project that must be studied at the next meeting outside school hours or at home. That's special for the student, and here's the specialist for teacher. Checking student work complete immediately. Students who have completed the project correctly are initiated and given a ranking number for the project assessment. Give awards to groups that have good performance and collaborations. Assessment, remedial, and enrichment. Assessment technique. Affective observation. Observation assessment is based on observing the attitudes and behaviors of students, both related to the learning process and in general direct observations made by the teacher. The following are examples of attitude assessment instruments. So here there is some examples to assess the student. Sukijan assess behavior aspect, R, A, SA, MC, total score, effective score, scorecard. And the note here that we assess to the student is R, religious, A, attention, SA, student activity, MC, mutual cooperation. Next, aspect of behavior judged by the criteria. So you can see the criteria over here. So we go to the next is cognitive. For cognitive, I'm using I use written test. Psychomotor performance. From this learning process, the students are able to write down the short functional text greeting card. Rubric, you can see the rubric here, the aspects of rating assessment, the points, and also aspect of reading assessment, point, description of oral. Okay, so that's all from me. Jadi ya di sini saya akan menjelaskan ya. Tadi saya lupa menjelaskan bahwasanya kenapa saya mengambil rating dan reading, karena di sana saya pikir itu adalah skill yang cocok, karena saya ingin si siswa itu mereka dalam ratingnya, misalkan mereka membuat sebuah greeting card, kemudian reading mereka tuh membacakan apa itu namanya, greeting card mereka, hasil pembuatan mereka sendiri, greeting card mereka sendiri di depan kelas nantinya. Nah itu kenapa saya menggunakan skill writing dan reading. Okay, that's all for me. Jika saya ada kesalahan, entah itu dari lesson plan-nya atau dari segi pengucapan atau dari segi presentation-nya, mohon maaf. Mohon maaf. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.